Now let's talk about request limits and allocations. I know that this may be a lot of information and we didn't create our own flow yet, but it's important to mention this so you know in advance, and then in the future you can read more once you know more about how Power Automate works. The thing that I want you to understand here is that we have limits sometimes. Request limits. When we do steps inside our automations, each step does a request, and we have this limit of how many actions we can do in a flow or in a day, so Microsoft can keep things with performance and availability. And this number of requests depends on the license and the usage. We have different profiles of performance on our flows. I'll leave this link in the course content, but we have, for example, a performance profile that's called low performance profile that comes in the basic plans. We have the medium performance profile that comes with the paid licenses, and we have the high performance profile that comes, for example, with the Power Automate per flow plan. So if you have a very basic flow, it may fit in this low performance profile, but imagine that you need to do a flow that runs a lot, really a lot for a very complex automation and runs thousands of times each day. Then you may need to pay a Power Automate per flow license to get more performance. So we have these types of performance profiles, and then we have the number of request limits that we can run based on those profiles. For example, for the low profile, I just got this from the documentation. That's basically what you will have, I think, because you're just learning. We are going to use the basic Power Automate that comes with the Office license. It's 10,000. So it means that basically we can do 10,000 requests. Summing all the flows that we have, each action of the flow, it's basically one request. So we can have 10,000 parts of the flows being executed. Just to summarize, I highly recommend you to understand more. And in this link, we have a very big documentation talking about all those limits. For example, we have different limits. That's the number of actions per flow, and it's 500. If you try to build a very big flow with a lot of steps on it, you may reach this limit, for example. Number of variables per flow, we're going to learn what's that, but don't worry, it's 250, and so on. Save this link, and once you learn more about Power Automate, once you do your first flows, you can come back here and you will be able to understand more what's written here, because then you will already know what are the things that this document is mentioning. Very good. Now in the next lesson, one of our last lessons with theory, and we are almost starting to build our own flows, we are going to see what are the parts of the flows that are divided in triggers and actions. See you in there.